As you said, this wasn't a source video, this was your personal analysis, and your personal analysis largely reflects my own.
The bottom line here is, if indeed, as you seem to suggest, and you're very knowledgeable about these things, the Atlantic is not just going to pull this out of their ass out of nowhere. This Lucasfilm Civil War, which a lot of people have poo-pooed the existence of, which I think is insane.
I know for a fact it's real. As I've said before, one of my close friends is one of Jon Favreau's inner circle crew members who goes with him from project to project to project to project. And he told me directly last year that Mr. Favreau hated The Last Jedi and essentially had contacted Disney himself and said that, can I help you fix this? I love this property. Can I help you fix this? Now, again, I don't know Mr. Favreau personally. I know one of his inner circle. That's what was relayed to me. So that person wouldn't lie to me. So I know for a fact that Mr. Favreau never shared this vision. And what we've seen in the last couple of years is the play out of these two visions, and this article now reveals which vision has won. I think over the next 20 years, this era of Star Wars will be forgotten. And
the sequel trilogy cannot stand in terms of canon. We cannot live with Luke Skywalker having that fate. So that's got to be decanonized. My sources have said that that's the long-term goal of the world between worlds, the veil of the Force. Using those mirrors and everything.
I've heard it separately. A friend of mine who is a very successful screenwriter, much more successful than me, nowhere he sends his DM. So just want to let you know, I'm hearing that Dave Filoni has a plan specifically to erase the thing, and it's already been seeded, and we're watching it play out.
So I don't mean to be that guy, but Doomcock. How's that world between worlds retconning the sequel trilogy going? I mean, after all, you had your verified sources that confirmed it was a for sure thing, right? That maybe I missed something with this season of Ahsoka, but it seemed like when they introduced the world between worlds that you were so sure was going to be used to create this alternate timeline. But I'm sure that's still going to happen, right? Because, like you said, I mean, they use the world between worlds, right? I mean, that's all the world between worlds that they're going to use to retcon the sequel trilogy and create a new timeline, right? Even though they didn't do that. Almost like I predicted that that's something they wouldn't do. Or maybe it's the fact that if you look on Baylan Skoll's Comwrist device, you can have the words translated on what's on the list of the names on his wrist. And, it goes for Luke and Leia and Han, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca, and also Ben. Do you ever get tired of being wrong? Just curious. Doomcock, here's a thought. Maybe, and I'm just suggesting maybe, whenever you have these credible sources that you totally believe are accurate, but you're not going to verify, maybe from here on out, when those sources turn out to be bunk, as they usually do, you should expose who those sources were and give a detailed explanation as to why you found them to be credible. Of course, I know you might make the excuse that, well, if I expose my sources, then no one would want to be my source. Well, here's the thing. As long as you made it clear to your sources that their anonymous status would remain in effect so long as their information turned out to be true, they would have nothing to fear so long as their information was actually credible and reliable. That'd actually be a great way of siphoning out the real sources versus the fake people that you're constantly promoting on your channel as credible sources, even though 9 times out of 10 they turn out to be bunk, and that's being incredibly generous to you. For you to also provide a detailed explanation as to why you found them credible, it could also give people an inside light into your perspective as to what makes you deem sources credible or not. Just saying, it would go a long way to build your reputation as a credible news source for the Star Wars universe and Star Wars media, for you to actually do the most bare minimum work to establish that kind of credibility, instead of keeping already bunked sources secret when you really have no other reason to do so other than the fact that if you were to expose your sources that have been proven to be bunked, your credibility would go straight down the shitter. Prove me wrong.